Jason, today I wanted to talk to you about Claude workflows. Now, I feel like it should be called dynamic workflows, and they mention it a few times, but it feels like a workflow engine that you can call on demand, which is fantastic, using something like repeatable plans or maybe specs that you use on a regular basis, but written in code. So it's not something that's malleable or might be non deterministic, but should follow the same steps over and over. Now, that said, it's been launched, as I think 2 weeks ago at this point in time. I've just been playing it out today. We're playing with it for the most part. I think I spent about 3 hours in it already, but to me, it feels like a game changer because a lot of the things that I'm doing when I use Claude or when I'm using Claude specifically with subagents or specs or plans, a lot of the work that I'm doing is more toil. It feels like it's not actually part of what I should be doing when it comes to coding or decision making, honestly, when it comes down to a coding agent. It feels like a
Mhm.
lot of what I'm doing is just managing that overhead. What this does is take away some of the complexity of something like maybe like a Kanban board or maybe full-fledged gas town, but you do actually need for tasks where you actually need different agent swarms. This feels like one where you can turn it on dynamically. So I thought we'd start with the docs because there was a few things in the
Sure.
Anthropic docs that I was not aware of. For one, this is a really long docs page, and listen, I love their design. I realize this doesn't show up very well on YouTube. I'm just scrolling through really quickly to show you how much text there is, but I want to start with something that's really interesting on the top right here of any of these pages. Now I'm zooming in on an icon. I realize this is probably not very interesting, but this copy page button is actually how I got started because I read through a couple paragraphs and I thought, oh, this actually seems really interesting. Maybe what I could do is actually go through and have Claude help me with it. The other thing I want to show is right under that button. Sorry, I'm zooming in and out here. Is you can view it as Markdown, which I did not realize until later as I was setting up this episode. And the last one is open in Claude. So I didn't even need to copy it and paste it in Claude. I could have just opened it in Claude here. So I thought that was pretty neat. Mostly because I think to get started with this, you might want to think about how you're using Claude or maybe why you're using Claude. Now, there's a table in here, right here, that kind of explains all of the things you would want to do. And I'll show you a different version here because we can get this in different ways. But right under this table, I thought was the most important part. It's this piece right here that a workflow will move the plan into code, and that with subagents, sorry, skills and agent teams. Claude is more of that orchestrator, and maybe should be more of that orchestrator. But in my experience, a lot of that orchestration is actually me hitting like one or two or yes or no, or figuring out a path or which model to use or what reasoning level to use. And it's not that that's hard, but it interrupts that flow because what I really want to do is start evaluating the output or looking at the diffs or maybe running evals against the output to see what's actually happened in that session.